Immediately, numerous police, fire, and ambulance personnel were dispatched to the scene. Officer Tony Spinazzola was the first officer to arrive on scene and immediately reported heavy smoke coming from the roof of building number 4. Officer Spinazzola went directly into the building and began banging on doors advising residents to get out of the building, and also escorted several people outside to safety. Also assisting getting residents out of the building in the early moments was Officer Brian Ubeli, who, like Officer Spinazzola, went to the opposite side of the building in an effort to alert residents. A bit of irony occurred when one of the first arriving firefighters, Dan Ubeli, Brian's father, was entering the building in full firefighting gear, passed his son, and told him to get out of the building. I don't think his father knew, but Officer Ubeli ignored his father's instructions and continued to assist in evacuating residents from the burning structure. Officers Craig Walsh, Dave McKenzie, and Sergeant Ed Quinn arrived on scene and played an instrumental role in getting people to safety, administering first aid to victims, directing ambulance personnel to injured parties, as well as managing the scene and controlling the crowd of onlookers. While it was a tragic situation in which 2 residents died and other family members were injured, the response of the police officers on scene, as well as the actions of other emergency personnel who responded to the scene, assisted in saving lives and minimizing injuries to other residents. I feel the early warnings given out by officers truly made a difference in the number of victims. For their efforts in responding quickly to a major fire scene, alerting residents to the imminent danger present, providing first aid to injured parties, as well as maintaining order at a somewhat chaotic scene, Officers Spinazzola, Ubeli, Walsh, McKenzie, and Sergeant Quinn are awarded meritorious awards of life-saving. On behalf of the officers as to the well-being of these younger males and what and why they were inside the apartment with an older male. While Officer Gogan stayed with the involved parties, Officer Goffin went to speak with nearby residents in an attempt to gain additional information about what was taking place. Officer Goffin was able to locate a neighbor who reported that the ongoing scenario was a familiar occurrence as of late, and that the older male involved was hosting frequent parties involving teenage males. With this information and the concern for the younger males intensifying, Officer Goffin contacted his patrol supervisor, Sergeant Gary Hannigan, who responded to the scene. Upon Sergeant Hannigan's arrival, the 3 officers spoke further with the individuals involved in an attempt to learn what was really going on. After gaining some of their trust and confidence, the officers were able to make contact with the boys' parents and convince them to come down to the police station for further questioning. After extensive questioning and investigation, it was learned that the older male living in the apartment had been offering money, drugs, and pornographic materials in exchange for favors from the several teenage males. The initial investigation conducted by Officers Goffin, Gogan, and Sergeant Hannigan allowed a search warrant for the apartment to be issued, whereupon many incriminating and illegal items were located and seized. The 55-year-old suspect in the case was charged with 2 counts of rape and abuse of a child, along with assorted charges of disseminating pornographic materials, as well as furnishing alcohol to minors. Because of their approach and investigation to a difficult and serious situation that initially involved some reluctant victims, Officers John Goffin, Dan Gogan, and Sergeant Gary Hannigan are awarded a meritorious award of recognition for their professionalism. Congratulations.